A very, very good evening, spontaneous, live, and wanted to catch up with you guys on this 8:30 max that I'll be able to do this. Almost probably another 50 minutes to talk about what is happening at the moment. So the update was as expected. No one has put forward a bid in regard to the commercial rights of the Indian Super League. Also the talk about, there is consortiums, there's this, there's that, and whatever interested. Let's be honest about it. Yes, different groups, entities asked questions about it. The potential savior always was Reliance Industries, and even they looked at the whole thing and then said, you know what, thank you very much. We are not picking up this the scraps of this. And it is a very, very sad day. That's why I've used black color or whatever I can. It's a black day for Indian football. It's a very sad scenario surrounding Indian football. But, let's enjoy, or we should have enjoyed yesterday with the news of Ryan Williams set to play for India. I, as a Mumbai City fan, of course, celebrated that Mumbai City got into the semi-finals of the Super Cup. But if I look at the standard of that and everything, then the less we talk about things, I think it is better. It's just it's a sheer tragedy. Dada, now we officially are not going to have a season. Oh gosh, says Angry Birds. Actually, I wasn't doing something, and then I thought, you know what, the situation actually is as bad as it is, and I thought maybe I should try and do a live at least, with you all, that we as a community at least come together, and and therefore we will, therefore I thought I'll quickly do this live and come online and talk to you all. That's the reason behind it. What is the tender update, Raj? The update is there is none. ISL tender has failed. There is not even one entity, group, individual, whoever, whatever you want to call it, who's put forward anything. And therefore, the update of the tender is, as I have said over the last few weeks, after the Honorable Supreme Court got involved, this is going to fail. ISL, I-League, IW, everything gone. Yeah, and it works. As you said multiple times, chance of ISL not happening is there, and today it's become a reality. I'll call it. I mean, the ISL, as we know at this moment in time, is dead. Reliance Industries' relationship with Indian football will end on the 8th of December. It will end on the 7th with the media production of the Super Cup, right? And that's it. That's reality, right? If we like it or not, that's the reality as I speak to you at this moment. And there's a lot of people to thank for this. They all, and I'm surprised I've not heard anything in regard to this from players or clubs or entities. I think a lot of people knew that this was coming. I think, I know there's been a lot of conversations over the last 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and and let's see. And this is, so let's see what happens. Nobody wants to work with this regime. But it's not about the regime. It's about the whole setup. The regime is its own set of problems. But the point at the end of the day is, even if you wanted to work with this regime, the commercial numbers make sense for nobody. You're going to pay the AIFF 37.5 crores, a down payment of 37.5 crores without anything. You do not control the league. You control nothing. You have to run the league, organize the league. That's a cost to you. Prize money, cost to you. If you are not Reliance and have access to a broadcasting setup, you'd have to pay for broadcast, right? The referees are coming from the AIFF, but even that part, referees, match commissioners, you have to pay. So anyone who wants to pick up the rights without even thinking about earning anything is down a minimum of 200 crores. And then the club say, you know what, central pool, this, that would also be nice to have. Who's going to put up that money? The product has been systematically destroyed over the last 2 years. Reality. If I like it, you like it, we like it or not, the product, and that's the reality, right? Those people need to be called out who said we don't need FSL and we can bring 500 crore. Rudra, call them out, right? We can call them all out, right? They were all going to be hide now and not say anything, because they know it is not just Kalyan Chaub as the president of the AIFF, right? Even Shaji Prabhakaran, who I met last Saturday, right, was when they came in, okay, right? It is easy to say that, right? Hasn't our friend Mr. Ranjit Bajaj said, oh, you know what, let them go, we will find money, right? Rahul Mehra said, oh, I want to clean up and I want to clear up the system. You are at fault that we have an ex-footballer as the president of the All India Football Federation. That is part of the problem. Former athletes, if they haven't studied sports or have an understanding of sports, should not be in those positions, right? Get the politicians out, get the business people out, get the sports management people in. But you need, in a country like India, you need at the top a political guy who's got the contacts. If I like it or not, that is the reality. We need to live in reality. We don't need to live in La La Land. Indian sports lives in La La Land. And thank you, Supreme Court of India. You have gotten us to this position because you got involved in matters which are not yours. Why are you involved in the commercial matters of the All India Football Federation? Why are you telling the All India Football Federation to put things into the constitution which is not needed? Those amicus curiae and all those guys who've advised the Supreme Court, all of these people should be taken to court. There should be compensation asked from these people for the damages done to Indian football, to India. But there is no level of accountability because, hey, we tried, we did, So, welcome to Indian football. Ryan Williams on every TV news channel is that's nice, Raj. Again, distraction. What will happen to footballers? I don't know. See, you've got a class of footballers who've earned a lot over the last 10, 11, 15, let's say 10, 15 years. There's a class who's earned a lot of money, right? No doubt about it. They will have no problem. It is not the mid-rung player. It's the small players. Why have we discussed in the last few days also the topic of match fixing? Why has it come out in Calcutta? Why has it come out in Goa? Why are people in Bangalore talking about it? I know it in Delhi and Mumbai, everywhere. Kerala, everyone's talking about it. Because at a certain level, players are not earning enough. But what is the problem? It is a structural problem because the amateur game in India is actually paid for. But our country, because everyone needs to be sustained, even the smallest grassroots coach wants to be paid and wants to be, a professional coach. Right? No ISL bid, forget about it, about league happening. Yeah. Now clubs will surely shut down. It is something which we'll have to wait and see what happens. But to me, yes, that is a real danger now. Let's wait and see what the clubs do. No Asia next. Angry Birds, we'll have to see. I'm angry, Ashish. I'm fine, but I'm angry with where people have brought us. If AIFF gives control of league to commercial partner, then there is possibility. No, Raj. It is not about control. It is about the numbers which don't add up. It is not, control is one factor, So, I wonder if IWO will happen now. Good question. So, will the clubs play Super Cup semi-final when there is no update on ISL? Rahul, that's a good question. But I think if FC Goa is playing in the Champions League, so FC Goa is secure till December, so they will play. I don't see a question behind East Bengal Football Club. And I also don't think that Punjab FC and Mumbai City will not play. If these clubs shut down, they will most probably they will shut down in December. But now the interesting part is, what are the efforts to save the situation? So that's the question. How can you get out of the situation, create something, build something, and build something for the future? How can you rectify this? And the first rectification would be, if Kalyan Chaudhuri had any credibility left, he would go to the EXCO or call a special body meeting, say, guys, I've tried my best, I failed, I'm resigned. I know he would not do it. But if you had balls, sorry, I shouldn't use these words. If you had whatever, cojones, whatever you want to call it, Kalyan, you would go and say, you know what, this is my fault. I leave. And not only you, other people in that gang as well. Right? The problems are people are too smart. AIFF judiciary clubs. Yeah, Raj, they all know, they all understand, but actually no, they don't. Right? The Super Cup has no meaning right now. Yeah, they've never had. Adevke alsel taderkyo koroninaki AIFF not a coach. It is, see, the AIFF, is it a drama? Is it a circus? Is it whatever we want to call it? Yes, all of that can be said. But at the end of the day, we are in a situation where if things don't happen, we are in a situation that this will, implode, right? And we are very, very close to that. The numbers don't, exactly. That is the summary. The numbers in regard to what is needed to build this doesn't work. What's next? I think that the special body which has been created to look after the tender, they will surely get together tonight, virtual or not, and at least in the under-17 World Cup, Germany takes the lead against North Korea. So at least some good news on that front. So to me, that is one, and they will have to, and the question is, if my logic would be for the BEC, who is looking after the tender, they have to go back to the Supreme Court and say, sorry, this is with these criteria, whatever you've given us, whatever you've done, it's not working. So yeah, let's wait and see. Dada, we have literally no league future. We are at this point worse than Bangladesh. Anyways, sadly, yeah. We are now at the level of a Pakistan where I think they have not had a proper league for the last 10, 11 years. We're going to that level. What were they smoking before making such foolish rules? Raj, I don't know. What will happen next? That is the question, Ankush, that nobody can answer at this moment in time, because it is the most valid of all questions, but I think nobody can answer that question because we don't know what steps will be taken. Right? Let's be honest about it. We are in a situation. Again, it's an SOS situation, in my opinion. And let's see. Yeah, I don't know where he is. I've not heard about him anything in the recent past. What's next? AIFF conduct league on their own. Yeah, might be an option. Might be something to look at. But looking at the Super Cup, do you think the AIFF is in a position? Again, I'm talking about the AIFF looking at the budget take the AIFF budget on its own. The AIFF would have to generate at least 70 crores to run the whole system, right? On top of running their own system. So they would have to generate some 70 crores to get it running. Where will they get the money from? Who will? If you even were rich and had the money and said, listen, I don't care about money, would you give the AIFF money? Simple question. So yeah, these are the things where we are stuck. Is AIFF going to release the tender once again by doing some modification or something else will happen? Ankush, that's a good question. I don't think that, again, I think my logic would be they have to go back to the Supreme Court and say, listen, with the help of KPMG, whatever we've produced, with all the numbers they've put in, the tender has failed. Honorable Court, what do we do now? Right? So that's the point. And I don't know. No, sir, there is no problem. We have bringing back Williams. Come on, Arunava, let's go unfiltered to speaking. Everything is for sure. This probably is our worst nightmare coming true. Is it our worst nightmare? I don't know if it's a worst nightmare. It is about. It is a nightmare. Yeah, it is a nightmare, and But again, I've been speaking about this for the last 2+ years. I started talking about it around the SAF Championship in Bangalore. I mean, when I was in Bangalore, I was doing, again, look at one of our earliest lives with Rahul from Sports Kabri at the time, and we were talking about it, and the reality was, we were in that situation. So at the end of the day, it is about ROI. they were, on one side, it is a combination of ROI and it is a combination of power, control, and how do you set it up. The AIFF in itself, even if you look at the governing council being run by the AIFF is, look at how they've been running the I League over the last few years. Look at how they've been doing the youth. Look at even the Super Cup at the moment. It is happening for the sake of happening, right? So if I look at all of those things, I don't see them being in that situation. So therefore, a commercial partner comes in. It is built on trust. It is built on working together. That is not there. City Football Group surely backing off. Raj, at the moment, I'm not going to talk to you or anyone about who's in, who's out, who's going, who's coming, because at the moment, I think it's a very fluid situation. Therefore, we will have to wait and see what happens in the coming days and weeks. At the moment, we'll have to wait, right? We're at 0.0 right now, maybe even negative. Angry Birds, we're negative. 0.0, we've lost a long time ago. We're at negative territory. Yeah, Goenka, Imami will most probably leave. Yeah, again, we'll have to wait and see what happens. All these discussions should have started 2 years ago. Also, what about AIFF finances after December 8? Uchit, you and I have spoken about it. Good afternoon. About this many times in the past, and we know what the realities are of these things, and things haven't happened. Things should have happened. Things needed to happen, but they haven't happened. And yeah, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what crazy solution, not realistic solution, but crazy solution maybe the AIFF comes up with. Can we bring in more OCI players directly to play for national team, or ISO first then? At the moment, given the reality, if you don't play in India, it will not be possible. So Ryan Williams is not playing because he's an OCI. He's playing because he was playing in India and people helped him to get to where he is now. Imagine a big country like India, World Cup, this Asian Cup, that no league this year. Yeah, they were, but that's the reality. Well, again, we should not be talking about the World Cup, men's or women's. If we get to it, it is by fluke. It is not by plan or by design. Playing Asian Cup is by fluke in the women's game. Look at the Thailand game, look at that game, and then look at Iran and Nepal. Then you know we were very, very lucky to be there. Thailand, we should thank Thailand. We are in a very, very difficult situation. Indian football future looks dark. Augusta, at the moment, yes. It looks very, very dark, sadly. Everything is over for us. Anibal, I hope not, but yeah, that is a danger. So that changes should be there so that someone bids. What changes? Raj, my question to you would be, what are the changes that would be needed to convince a bid? A new AIFF. That would be a start. Not the involvement of the Supreme Court in this matter. Right? Right? That is the reality. But they promised 500 crore. Vikila, they promised 500 crore and brought zero. They're saying you and I can promise 10,000 crores. But we won't be able to bring in 1 rupee. That is the problem. I want to sing a song. Oh, let's spend another 10 crores in meetings. Again, that is not the problem, Angry Birds. Forget the 10 crores, 5 crores on meetings and all. That is part of the things. Again, these are some of the. This also makes me angry when fans say, oh, you know what, they can't spend. No, they have to meet, right? And if you do the right things in your meetings, then things happen. But there are certain things which needs to be done. This is also very childish, very stupid, which has been criticized. There are a lot of things that people criticize which are utterly rubbish, which should not be worth a conversation. Right? That the AIFF has to meet. I know from members where said, online meetings, this and that, because online meetings don't get you anywhere. I know this from work. One physical meeting is better than 100 online Zooms or Teams or whatever meetings. Reality. AIFF, we have to save age fraud of politician kids. Yeah, but right, that is another problem, right? That the politicians in India are putting pressure on the top brass of the federation to do that. Right? Which shows you that your political class, your judiciary is not helping us to, that's the reality. No football this year, Shanta. At the moment, I would say yes. But again, I wouldn't know which way we're going. But at the moment, if you ask me, at the moment, what I've said now for the last 3 weeks, my opinion has been a 1% chance of the ISL happening. And yeah, I would stick to that. Now, the decision of Odisha not playing in the Super Cup is looking like a good decision. And also, even if the club have a little trust in if it's going to be on the whole drama. Yeah, Rahul, very right. I said this a few days ago that Odisha might be right by not playing. Yeah. So what's the update? I just joined. Very simple, Mayank. The ISL tender has failed. That's your update. There is not much more, to say. The ISL tender has failed. No one has bid. And now where are we? By this, there should be already a meeting, but Kalyan Chaudhuri has to complete his tender. That's more important. There will be a meeting tonight, 100%. But the problem is, Kalyan Chaudhuri, Nageshwar Rao, what are they going to... Does anyone trust them to say, we'll give you this money and let's do this? Right? I'm afraid that we are in for 2000s Z Sports era, I-League broadcasting, friends, marketing, pathetic chances. Ravi, this is worse. We are back to the 90s, pre-I-League days. I-League, you know what? IMG came in, Star Sports came in. We had Novi Kapadia and Noel De Lima as our commentators, as our experts. Yeah. I think if AIFF had included entire football pyramid with us instead of just us agenda would have been better and could have attracted at least one cooperation. Akash, again, this is also La La Land. Sorry, I'll be brutal today. If you want to sign a tender, you will rather do the ISL than the whole pyramid. What value is the I-League? What value is the IWL? What value is the Santosh Trophy, the women's nationals, and all the youth? There is no value. The only valuable product per se is the ISL. Not even the I-League. The I-League, the clubs had to pay Sony last year to get onto Sony. So, the AIFF financial condition looks worse than the mouse living in Madagascar. That's bad. Only Supreme Court can save us. No, the Supreme Court is at fault. Mindset mastery, the Supreme Court is at fault. The judges, the justices have put us into this situation. Kalyan Chaudhuri is there because the Supreme Court got involved and they wanted to remove, Praful Patel. If that's right or wrong, a different discussion. But the Supreme Court of India, what was the need of the Supreme Court of India to get involved in the tender? Right? That is the reality. The judiciary, the political class have put us into this situation. Very simple. What will happen now? No tender. I don't know. Again, as I've said in the last few days, I think nobody knows what will happen. If anybody can tell me what is happening, and the point is that there is a group of people who are journalists, influencers, this, that, everything, who seem to know what's happening. And I've always said this, they don't know what's happening. But they want to be part of the conversation. And they've harmed the system more than they've helped in the last few days. Because why? Because these speculations are not helping the conversation. We are in a situation where right leadership is needed, where tough decisions are also needed. And look at all the decisions that we've seen over the last, 3 years, right? The president is claiming credit for Ryan Williams getting an Indian passport. It is not you didn't do anything for this. There are other people who've done it. This is the reality what it is. I'm thinking about Ryan Williams. He was about to become the MVP of ISL. Now there is no ISL. Palash, it's not about MVP of the, the Indian MVP of the ISL. He wants to play for the national team, okay? Right? Right? And given he knew the scenario, Ryan knew the scenario and still took up Indian citizenship. I give him even more credit than he should already get for relinquishing Australian citizenship to become a citizen of the Republic of India. Right? The Supreme Court is the biggest. Let's not get into that. Hi, Blue. So finally, yes, Blue, it has happened. And yeah, Akash, don't feel sad for him. Ryan Williams took a conscious decision knowing these facts. Right? Can this tender thing happen again with citizen? The tender needs to be redone. This whole process needs to be redone. The league cannot be in the hands of the AIFF. That's the first problem. Then the money part, the broadcasting part, how many teams, there's so many questions. This is not a one question, one answer. If you think that after the tender document was put out, that 240 plus questions were put to the AIFF, which means that the tender is not worked in that detail, that it clarifies all these queries and questions which are needed. Right? That is the reality. भारतीय जैसे कितना प्लेयर है जो बाहर से लीग्स में खेलते हैं पर इंडियन पासपोर्ट होल्ड करता है. There are, again, but is this the kind of players that we want or not? That's the way. KPMG is equally responsible for this tender issue. No, they didn't value the. Akash, you don't even know what happened in the background with all of that is happening. So therefore, guys, that's what I'm saying. You guys know nothing of what's been going on in the last 3-4 weeks in the background of this issue. They should resign today night itself. I was, yes, the EXCO, general body, everybody should resign. I want a sorry from the Supreme Court of India of putting us into this situation. A public apology. Right? Nageshwar Rao, public apology to every Indian football fan. So, maybe KPMG is, why did the others back out, right? KPMG didn't realize that. Why would anybody take this deal? You're asking so much money and AIFF will still go. Yeah, Aryan, that is the one part. If I am able to make money, if I can generate 200 crores and I'm paying 37.5 crores plus X to the AIFF, I can do that. I don't have a problem. But, right? That's the problem. The thing is, back in 2000, the INFOC was disbanded by the government because of massive corruption. International Hockey India was formed, but I think the same can't be done. No, it can't. The government was involved of installing Kalyan Chaube. This whole mess is the fault of the Supreme Court of India and the government of India. I think AIFF wanted the money. KPMG has not much to say. What would they do otherwise? Put 1 crore price tag. KPMG is producing the document. KPMG is not producing the numbers. Guys, understand that. I commented once AIFF is the owner of the league with 100% control and they're bidding for managing answer. So as per simple business knowledge, AIFF should give money to the corporation. Why reverse? Exactly, Akash. But if AIFF can only do that, yeah, you're right. Because whoever manages it should be getting a management fee. But the AIFF is generating 0 paisa on its own. Right? Not even 1 rupee. If 10 to 15 crores, no, Raj, it's not. Again, the question is not the money. The question is, how do you structure the whole thing? That is the question at the end of the day that I have to ask you, right? Kiski nazar lag gaya India football? Newton Chacha. What were those three whose names were coming up? I said, some Suja. There were never 3-4 companies interested, right? FSTL was, yes, in the being in a meeting. I've said this multiple times. Being in a meeting with the AIFF doesn't mean you are actually factually interested in the rights. I am telling you this, that if I am sitting, I could have said, I have someone behind me with money. I'll sit in the meeting, right? If I had or not, a different question. I'm sure the AIFF would have allowed it. So it makes no sense. Pre-NFL days, yes, Palash. That is what I feel. We're going to go back to the early 90s. 1996 with the start of the NFL. Why did equalizer 81st for North Korea 1-1. Oh God. It's a difficult one, right? It's at the end of the day, it's a difficult one because at the end of the day, even IMG walked out on the AIFF because Mr. Dasmunchi wanted to control the league. And IMG then said, thank you very much, Tata, bye-bye. But this is not the first time these things have happened. If I was the authority of FSD or any other corporation, I would never give 37.5 crores to AIFF with 0% ownership and control. Yeah. Couldn't agree more with you, Akash. Where is the saver when your football thought FSL is looting us when actually FSL is keeping us you afloat? Aryan, that is what a lot of fans thought. Believe. Listen, Reliance has lost more than 3,000 crores. Did they do everything right? Of course not. Reliance has done a lot of mistakes themselves. FSDL has done a lot of mistakes. But they were pumping in the money which was keeping the system alive over the last 15 years. This is something which nobody wants to understand. Or a lot of people don't understand. Star Sports Hero came because of Reliance. Don't forget that. Hope now they understand the value. Yeah, of course. Raul Mera came out in portraying to put ex-athletes into sporting bodies is a nice idea. In theory, it's actually a good idea. In practicality, it's the worst idea of all if you don't have athletes who understand the sport. And in an Indian context, these athletes are mostly not in a position to be involved in running sporting federations. Only Praful Patel can save us. Sanibhai, now Chaudhuri will beg FSTL and the other three corporations. Where are the other three corporations? Again, you guys are living off information which is on the net, which is wrong. Who are they? Just because we came for a meeting, you're going to fan code. Fan code was in the meeting. What can fan code do? Do you think fan code can organize the league? Fan code can broadcast, right? They were never there for the commercial rights. They were potentially interested in the broadcast. And at least were listening, right? Who's the other one? Shachi. Foreign consortium? There was never a foreign consortium. There were people sitting over there. The savior is busy in his PR. Now only God can save us. Why did students set rules for tenders? Basically, that's a good question. Because the Supreme Court got involved in a matter which is not for them to decide or to get involved in. And the lawyers sitting on those cases should have told the Supreme Court, honorable gentlemen, please do not touch this. This is a matter of the federation and the market. To say that the AIFF, to put it into the constitution even. I've said this. The constitution, we can tear it up and do a new one. AIFF only won 37.5 crore and has given no knowledge of broadcast deal in the tender. ISL can run if they get good amount of money in the broadcast deal, and the tender has nothing on that. Rahul, who's going to give you even 1 rupee on the broadcast? I-League last year was trying to get onto Sony, wanted money from them, 0 deal, barter deal, then they had to pay. We are in a very, very tricky situation. Where are the legal experts who acted like know it all? No, they are still there. Wait, what just happened? We were hearing there are 4 6 bidders, no, there are none. Why? How? Pranjal, there were never 4 to 6 bidders. Sorry. There were never any bidders. This is one reality that, yeah, no bidder. That the most loved sport of cricket gets its legitimate due. Yeah, but Blue, these kind of people, does he know commercials? Does he do understand? Does he know how sports works? He single-handedly has destroyed Indian football. He's trying to hide his failures. Raj, thank you. I think you should shut down football in India, says Aman. People, fans go naive. We think a single Ryan Williams can change national team performance, motivation. I try to take it for Ryan. There is no proper pyramid. Sorry, nothing will change. Let's see, SB. Sports extremes. So as per Mera, FS's cosmetic treatment is doing some kind of revolution with Supreme Court, delusional, less knowledge, stupid, arrogant, everything in one guy. Maybe we should call these guys evil. They are evil. If you ask me, it is evil. And I would like to know who's backing these guys to do all of this crap. In the name of doing good for sports, they are destroying sports in India. That is sadly the reality of things. This is what hurts me, right? This hurts the way these guys are harming Indian football and Indian sports. The season is not going to take place as we have limited time maximum, and why? But I wouldn't say football is dead, but let's see what happens, right? Is there any update on Utsav? The tender is failed. No one has picked up the bid. If Supreme Court sets the rules for the tenders, why they didn't give the answer? What will happen if no investor bought the tender? Because they don't understand how this process works, right? If I don't know how this process works, how can I do? What's the sound of the whole thing? Shamal, that we are where I said a few months ago where we'll be heading, right? These days, no one takes responsibility and resigns. Gonna go on are those days. Anindra, that's a very important point. Yeah, very, very right, very valid. That nobody, because if I do wrong, I deflect, I blame others, I blame the rest of the world, right, for the failures. I didn't do anything wrong, right? That is the problem that we live in today's world, that nobody wants to do what is needed, what is necessary to do, right? And that's the huge danger we find ourselves in at this moment in time, in my opinion. I think in ISL, which means the participant being the principal owner of ISL, like EPL, in control of everything, including broadcasting, just keep the AIFF out of it. Yeah, but Debu, how's that going to happen? Right? When ISL happen next year, they're unsure. Nobody knows. At this rate, they're destroying livelihood of many people. Yes, Vikilal, they are. And the other companies also. Renal, people showed interest. People wanted to know what is it behind. I know that again, your job as a sports management company is to look at rights. And yes, there were the sports files of this world and even others looked at the rights. And then if they do their math, they say, okay, we've stayed out of it. Why the tender fail? Look at the numbers. Devanshu, what we've been talking about. The numbers don't add up. Who has control of it? Nobody knows how much you're going to spend overall, right? If you're telling me, oh, give me 37.5 crores and the rest you figure out and manage. That's where we are. None of them has the pull FSL have. We want them for long a run. Kieran, typical AIFF things again, but how long we will have to tolerate this? I'm done with it. Rashtik, yeah. How good is the Bolivian top 10 league? And Rashtik, it is one of the weakest leagues in South America. Either there would be a deal with FSL or forget ISL. Also, do you think FSL should have more power in running the league? Chetan, it's not about more power, right? I think that there are means and ways of how FSL needs to control the league, but that has gone now, and therefore we are stuck where we are stuck, and we have the problem, we have the issue, and can Germany win the U17 World Cup this time? Yeah, certainly they can defend, but again, they're playing well, but they're not scoring. Why government put ask the government. Was KPMG the right choice according to you? Swastik, I don't know if KPMG or any other company would have been the right or the wrong choice, but to me, they have the knowledge in-house. Yes, they can do it. Did they do it right? No, they didn't. Right? That's also reality of things. So yeah, AIFF can't even run Indian football. They want OCI players to represent the national team. Yeah. In India, everyone thinks they are over smart and they hide and wash their hands. Yeah, actually, very, very right. Now operations manager is no, like and subscribe, says Ashley. Yeah, I haven't said that. Please do like this short notice live on this sad evening, I have to say. 27 likes so far. Thank you very much. Yesterday, new record, over 16,000 views for the Mumbai City versus Kerala Blasters game. One of the last ones of this kind, I guess. There is another court case against Kalyan Chaubey being in that, and first removal at point, just live stream court case, then matches, and I don't get why Supreme Court even takes it, because that is how I don't know how the courts operate. I was also shocked why those advocates didn't portray the situation properly. Supreme Court didn't understand the football structure, how that's worked. The problem is that this case has been running for nearly 8 years, right? And I think it's a good income for a lot of people. Yeah. And those who are discussing the matter, do they understand the matter? No, I don't think so. I came to pay money to a seminar and then left without paying money, says Aditya. I would have rather taken a ban, at least better than this terrible myself. Maybe that is actually factually true. For all this, who needs to be blamed? Clubs, AIFF, or FSDL? The AIFF, I mean. The AIFF, the Supreme Court of India, who have not done whatever is needed to take decisions in the best interest of Indian football, right? So what's the way out there? Well, I think the 3 points. First, mass resignations at the AIFF, right, would be a first step, in my opinion. The Supreme Court, Nageshwar Rao moving out, completely out of the process. Get FIFA, get AFC involved, get a group of special advisors involved, that's the only way forward. Is it going to happen? I don't think so. Right? At the moment, I don't think that's happening, but we can wish. What do you think about Baichung Bhutia? Is he a good candidate? No, he's not. Devanshu, Baichung is a legendary footballer in his own right, and but I don't see Bhutia as being the president of being able to do what is needed for Indian football to move forward. Right. On one hand, salute Ryan Williams for doing the sacrifice and will positively national team. On the other hand, congrats if its deeds resulted on 7 situation for Indian football. Lowest. God help us, says Shanlata. Back in your time with Indian football, do these double things used to no. So, listen, Indian football has never been easy. Indian football has had its problems, its issues, but we were never in the situation we are in now. So no, this doesn't work the way. How do you think City Football Group top management react? God, I've no idea. Again, I don't know. It is a situation where we need to find a way of how the clubs react and see things. And let's wait and see. We take for granted that we have, rather than being thankful of Reliance, we do people-pleasing things. So when reality slaps us hard, we should be shocked. Hard saying, Orithro, but I totally agree with you. Yeah, you're right. Who is Rao Mera? He's a lawyer who's been fighting to what he thinks is cleaning up sporting federations, and actually, yeah, in the case of Indian football, it looks to be backfiring. Great, Ron Sharma finally got a reason he was looking for, says Aditya. Will there be a new bidding process again with new financial structure? And no idea. And I think, again, as I said, with this kind of situation, I think nobody can tell you how things will progress, what will happen. And at this moment in time, we are in a situation where yeah, I think a lot of decision needs to be taken, but I don't know if yeah, things will happen. Take the news down. Each day is looking like a worse upcoming trap. Yeah, India Bangladesh versus Pakistan, the worst football federation of all time. I don't even think Bangladesh at the moment comes into the conversation, right? Pakistan has its own set of issues, but that's also politically motivated. Let's put it this way. And on the other side, we have our own sets of issues. There are other federations around the world who have their issues, but yeah, we'll have to live with it. It's over. No league, no international fixture. We're officially on a black hole with nothing on our hands. Yeah, but and these kind of things happen, and again, in the worst situation and the worst negativity, you still can turn things around, and that's the problem. So many years of cursing Reliance only for people to realize they're worse now. Yeah, Aditya. If some people are still cursing them, the last AIFF were definitely not clean, but in all their problems, that personalized to deal, people sit with people and make things happen. Current ones are just puppets. Aritra, they're not even puppets, and they're doing things which, and some of them maybe even with good intentions, yeah, let's see. So Gaurav Mangi's post pleading admissions at the House of Order. He's a coach now. Mangi has, I know Mangi since he's 15 when I first met him at TFA. Intelligent boy at that age, an intelligent boy, and and given the scenario at this moment in time, I would say, how can we turn things around? And we can't. That is the problem. And Mangi is, I've read that long essay of Mangi's. That's why I say intelligent boy, because Mangi has raised all these points, because his players are talking to him. The juniors are coming. Mangi da, sir, what is going to happen? Kya hoga? And he doesn't have an answer. Job administered has zero expertise in football, also zero shame with negative contribution. Yeah. Odisha might be the first one to shut down. Or, yeah. Stop being optimistic, Arunda. There's no turning out the situation. Aditya, there's always a chance. Yeah. Right. There will be something happening at some stage. So let's wait and see. You're going to shut down, says Aditya. What will the football agencies do for the ingenious guys now? No idea. Do you see a normalization committee coming into managing AIFF matters? Well, FIFA at the moment is not involved. This is an internal matter, So let's wait and see. Now it looks like if Praful Patel had continued somehow, even illegally, that AIFF would be great. Yeah, Gaurav, what illegally? According to the Supreme Court illegally, but not according to the rules of football illegally. That's the problem, no? Can the ISL curves come and form floating into governor ISL? No, I can't. Good evening, Siddharth. People don't realize there's a difference in playing the game and managing it. Yes, Arya, very, very important point. Fact is, spoke about the Volleyball League, even Kerala Football League. Gujarati now, Bengal League getting sponsors, but ISL is not getting. It just speaks volumes of incompetence. No, it doesn't, Ravi. Where is the Pro Kabaddi League successful? Where is the Volleyball League successful? Kerala Football League, Gujarat League, Bengal. You giving examples of getting sponsors. A lot of the deals are barter deals. I give you this, you give me this. There's not even, again, you can become with 20 lakhs. You can become a sponsor in those kind of leagues. 20 lakhs. In Indian football, at least 5 crores. So day and night, right? People, Adani is a sponsored front of shirt. It's a gift. So also these realities need to be put in mind. This fest ends, we need people who know how to deal. Doesn't have to be footballers, I want a person commercial rather than footballers and field politicians. Yeah, true, I agree with that. If sports minister interfere, then maybe if they can show some mercy. Akash, put those people in. Evening, it's not a surprise for me. I was expecting this, but hey, let's see what will arrive after this burn. If ever talking to government regarding some kind of solution bailout, obviously without getting FIFA sanctions, why would the government put in money? Has the government has supported the AIFF less in the last 3 years than in the last 10 years? Right? Under 17 boys, the AIFF was massively supported by the government of India. Their support per year was higher than what they've done in the last 5. In your opinion, realistic chance of getting out of this? I don't have a realistic opinion tonight. Looking at what is being coming out or not coming out. Why floating entry with all ISLs cannot govern ISL? Akash, because the ISL clubs themselves are not speaking with one voice. When the ISL club said let's put a letter together, Mohun Bagan East Bengal said no, we don't. Interkashi was not involved in the conversation. The clubs are not. Do you think that these clubs are in a position to do it themselves? Just think logically. F is still doing great, but not taking a step ahead. It's important for F to see the reflection of their own mirror now. Yeah. Let's rejoice. Messi visiting India. Wait. Nice one, Achut. Arunava, this means there will be huge losses of those who purchase. Aditya, they were losing money anyway. So, yeah. Hey, Mansukh Mandavi, look at your mess. So we are shutting down, aren't we? Yeah, looks like it. Government, not in Muttal, but any stage now. Listen, they've not helped Indian football properly in the last decade. So, last 3-4 years. Why would they suddenly come out of there? Guys, what happens now? Newton, what's up? I don't know. They need to go back. They need to go back to the Supreme Court and ask the Supreme Court what, that's the thing. Let's watch Super League Kerala and upcoming Bengal Super League. Please go ahead. What the heck, why am I not getting notified when you're doing live? Haven't gotten a month. I suppose search for channels to see for live. Rohit, you have to maybe activate notifications. I don't know. Let's see. Or check. I do some. This was a spontaneous one. We'll be in top 50 ranking very soon. Very soon, yes. Feeling very ready at this point. Guys, I will end this live now because I have to head out in 10 minutes. I thought I'll do this live quickly, even though I didn't have the time today. But it was, ISL tender fails. What's next? I thought still of doing one. And it's a sad day. It's a very, very sad day for Indian football. And I don't even know where we're heading with this, because even if you ask me, I don't have a solution at the moment. The solution has to come from people who can have a solution. And the AIFF needs to introspect. As I said, I think heads need to now roll. There needs to be accountability, but I don't see that happening. As I don't think people think of themselves being accountable. And that's why we are in a situation where we are. And so yeah, it's I don't know. So very, very sad situation. Right, guys, like, share, subscribe, and we'll have to see what happens in the coming days. Rohit, to answer, yes, Ryan Williams is true. Watch, I've done a video on that with what has all gone into it, and I'll catch you soon. Let me see in the next couple of days if I get a little bit of time, but I've got a busy weekend ahead. So therefore, thanks for watching. I'll catch you soon. Bye for now.